It was raining. Not the kind of gentle drizzle people romanticized in books, no, this was the kind that stung your skin and soaked you to the bone in minutes. The kind of rain that made people hurry past each other, eyes down, shoulders hunched, hearts closed. But he saw her. At first, he thought she was just another person trying to shield herself from the storm. Until she stumbled. And then fell. Right there, on the edge of 8th and Maple Street, her knees giving way, her face pale, her arms limp. People walked by. Some looked, some didn't. No one stopped. Except him. Jason Patel was running late. Again. Being a single father to an 8-year-old daughter wasn't something he had ever imagined for himself, especially not at 33. But here he was, coffee in one hand, lunchbox in the other, and an apology text half-typed to his boss. If he was late one more time, he knew what was coming. But when he saw her, when he saw the woman collapse in the pouring rain, everything else faded. He didn't think. He just ran. "Hey, hey! Are you okay?" he shouted, kneeling beside her. Her breathing was shallow, her lips slightly blue. Her clothes were soaked, and she wasn't responding. His instinct kicked in. He took off his coat and wrapped it around her, then pulled his phone from his pocket with shivering hands and called 911. As the ambulance siren drew near, he looked at her face. Young. Maybe mid-20s. A scar under her chin. Dirt under her nails. And something else, something that looked like fear even while unconscious. He could have walked away after the medics came. He could have just said he was a good Samaritan and left. But he didn't. He rode with her to the hospital. And he didn't know it yet, but his life was about to change. The hospital room smelled like antiseptic and too much silence. Jason sat by her bed, the coat now draped over the chair. He had texted his boss, "Emergency. Can't make it today." No explanation. No apology. He looked down at her again. She hadn't woken up. A nurse came in. "She's stable now. Severe dehydration, exhaustion, and possibly anemia. But there are signs of malnutrition too. Hasn't eaten in a while, it seems." Jason's heart sank. "She homeless?" The nurse gave a sad smile. "Maybe. But no ID. No phone. Just this." She handed him a damp, worn photograph. It showed a little girl, maybe 5 years old, standing in front of a small house with a woman, the same woman lying in the hospital bed now, smiling beside her. Jason held the photo in his hand like it was fragile. "She has a daughter." By evening, she woke up. She flinched when she saw him. "It's okay," he said gently. "You collapsed. I saw you. Called an ambulance." Her eyes darted around the room, as if searching for the quickest way out. "I need to leave," she said, trying to sit up, wincing in pain. "You need rest. You're not well. And your daughter, she must be worried." She froze. "You saw the photo?" she asked. He nodded. Tears welled in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them away. "I don't know where she is." Jason blinked. "What?" "They took her. CPS. I lost my job. Couldn't pay rent. We were living in a shelter. One day, I didn't make it back in time. They said I wasn't providing stable housing. She's 5. Her name's Lily." He felt something in his chest twist. "I've been trying to get her back," she whispered. "But you need a job. A place. A plan. I've got nothing but this damn rain and a picture." Jason didn't speak for a moment. Then he said softly, "That's not nothing." Jason did something he hadn't done in a long time. He took a chance on someone. He offered Mara his help, not because he pitied her, but because he saw something in her eyes. Something he recognized. Loss. Guilt. And a will to survive. He let her stay in the small guest room in his house. Not without hesitation, especially thinking of his daughter, Anaya. But when he introduced them, something clicked. Anaya. Playful, curious, endlessly empathetic, didn't ask why Mara was there. She just took her hand and said, "Do you want to draw with me?" And that was the beginning. Mara got better. Stronger. Jason helped her set up a meeting with a legal aid service. They started tracking her case with CPS. It wasn't easy, nothing involving the system ever is, but now, she had a steady address. She had someone to vouch for her. Someone to believe in her. And slowly, her voice began to carry more hope than fear. Jason didn't realize how much he'd needed someone too. Mara listened when he talked about his late wife. About how lonely parenting could be. About how he worked 2 jobs and still felt like he was failing. They shared late-night cups of tea. Laughed over burnt dinners. Spoke in the quiet language of 2 people who had lived through loss, different kinds, but equally deep. One night, after a long meeting with the social worker, Mara returned with red eyes. "They might. Let me visit her," she whispered. Supervised. Just for an hour. Jason hugged her. It was the first time he touched her like that. And it didn't feel like charity. It felt like family. The day of the visit, Jason took off work again. He drove her to the center, holding her hand as she trembled. Anaya came along, her quiet presence was calming, like a thread of peace. And when Lily walked into the room, bright-eyed, her curls bouncing as she ran, the room felt like it stopped breathing. "Mama." Mara knelt down, arms wide, tears streaming down her face. It was only an hour. But it was enough. Enough to remind Mara what she was fighting for. Enough to remind Jason what he'd been missing, a sense of purpose that went beyond routine. Over the next few months, things changed. Jason was fired for too many absences. But he found something better, a part-time role with flexible hours at a non-profit that helped displaced families. Mara helped him apply. Mara started working at a bakery nearby. She saved. She proved she could provide. And eventually, after a 6-month fight, Mara regained custody of Lily. There wasn't a dry eye in court that day. Not even Jason's. People asked Jason later, why he helped her. Why he gave so much when he had so little. He always said the same thing. Because someone once stopped for me. And now, every year, on a rainy day in April, Mara bakes him a pie, Lily draws him a picture, and they come over to Jason's house, which, in truth, has become theirs too. Because sometimes, the strongest families, are the ones you build from broken pieces. No act of kindness is ever wasted. When we stop for someone, when we see them not as a burden, but as a human being, we create a ripple. One that can heal, inspire, and change lives. Just like Jason did. Just like you can.